Two icons, two paths no one understood, one silent connection that changed football forever. This isn't about goals or trophies. This is a story they never told you. The beach was empty, the sun dipping low over Praia Grande, Brazil, casting long shadows across cracked concrete and forgotten dreams. A boy ran barefoot through the sand, the ball barely touching the ground, his movements improvised, like jazz, wild, joyful, free. Neymar da Silva Santos Jr., thin as a matchstick, smiling like he'd never known pain, playing like the world wasn't broken. He came from chaos, a father once full of promise, turned agent, mentor, protector, a mother who fought for every meal, electric bills unpaid, fridges often empty, but always a football, from futsal courts to street cages. Neymar learned the game like a dancer learns rhythm, not by instructions, but by instinct. His legs moved faster than the eye could follow. His tricks weren't for show. They were survival. He played to escape, to eat, to rise, thousands of miles away. The island of Madeira, Portugal, battered by Atlantic winds and rough edges. Another boy, alone on a rooftop, kicking a deflated ball against brick walls until nightfall. Cristiano Ronaldo dos Santos Aveiro. There were no smiles in his game, only fire, discipline, purpose. Where Neymar flowed like water, Ronaldo struck like thunder. His father drank, his mother cleaned, his siblings scraped by. But he ran, he lifted, he punished himself, because he believed he was meant for more. They didn't know each other. Not yet. They weren't rivals. They weren't teammates. They were stories unfolding in silence, parallel, unaware. But fate was watching. And football had plans. Neymar's rise came like a carnival. At Santos, he became a sensation. At 17, he was unstoppable. Hair dyed, crowds dancing, Brazil reborn in his feet. They called him the new Pelé, the next Romario, the future of joy. But with the praise came pressure. With the flair came hate. He was loved, but he was also targeted. Diving, arrogance, immaturity. They called him style without substance, flash without fight. But Neymar didn't care. He had one goal, Europe. He studied YouTube clips, Coppets to Povers, practiced free kicks. And above all, he watched one player more than anyone else, Cristiano Ronaldo. By then, a global icon, built like a Greek god, scoring goals like a machine, winning at Manchester United, then Real Madrid. His work ethic was legend. Arrive first, leave last, repeat. He was hated. He was loved. But above all, he was respected. Neymar saw him not as a rival, but as a blueprint, a model of obsession, a symbol of self-made greatness. Not Messi, not Ronaldinho, but Ronaldo. The world tried to separate them. Brazil versus Portugal, flair versus force, joy versus discipline. But in truth, they were reflections, both born into struggle, both chosen too young, both turned into brands before they could become men. One smiled through the chaos, the other snarled through the pain. One made you dance, the other made you salute. And yet, for years, they never spoke, never crossed paths, never touched the same stage. But in 2013, a deal was struck. The drums began to beat. The two worlds inched closer, because Neymar was going to Europe, and the man waiting at the other side of that ocean was Cristiano Ronaldo. Europe buzzed with rumors, bidding wars, whispers of a new era. Neymar was coming. But where? Chelsea wanted him. Madrid whispered offers. But in the end, it was Barcelona, a decision that would change everything. He landed in Spain like lightning. The prodigy, the Prince of Brazil, flanked by press, draped in expectation, and holding the invisible weight of a footballing nation. His price tag raised eyebrows. His hairstyle, headlines. His smile, dangerous, because behind it lurked a desire for more than goals. Legacy, recognition, greatness. But Barcelona wasn't his kingdom. It was Messi's. And just down the road, in white and gold, waited the man Neymar had once studied on a cracked phone screen. Cristiano Ronaldo, the king of Madrid, the engine of the Galacticos, the relentless machine breaking records at unnatural speed. He'd seen prodigies come and go. Bale, James, Isco. But Neymar was different, because Neymar didn't just want to win. He wanted to shine. He didn't just want to play alongside legends. He wanted to replace them. And the rivalry that fans obsessed over, Messi versus Ronaldo, suddenly had a third shadow, a wild card, a disruptor, a young king in waiting. Neymar stepped into El Clasico like a boy chasing ghosts. He knew the eyes were on him. But the field was war. Ronaldo on one wing, Neymar on the other, one draped in experience, the other in potential. And then it happened, a collision of icons. They didn't clash physically. They didn't need to. Their presence alone was enough to tilt the cameras, to silence the fans, to steal the spotlight from even Messi. But what happened next? No one expected. After the match, behind the tunnel lights, beyond the shouting press, they met, not as rivals, but as men. Cristiano, all business, nodded. Neymar smiled wide. And then Ronaldo pulled him in. A brief handshake, a whisper. No microphones caught it. No journalist recorded it. But Neymar would later say, "That moment changed how I saw everything. I realized I wasn't chasing ghosts. I was walking among them." From that day forward, a silent respect grew. Not loud, not public, but deep. Because Neymar saw the discipline behind Ronaldo's shine. And Ronaldo saw the danger behind Neymar's smile. The press spun rivalry. But they were never enemies. In fact, they were more alike than anyone wanted to admit. Neymar began training harder. Less diving, more focus. He stopped being just Messi's sidekick and started becoming his own threat. And in private, he studied Ronaldo, his physique, his headers, his mentality. Because Ronaldo wasn't just a player. He was an idea that you could be more than what the world expected, that you could take pain and turn it into power. Meanwhile, Ronaldo noticed Neymar wasn't afraid of pressure, of Messi, of him, and that, more than anything, earned his respect. He knew Neymar wasn't like the others. He didn't flinch. He didn't fade. He didn't fold. He was next, and that scared a lot of people. But something else was brewing. A rumor, a shift, a future that no one could quite see yet, but everyone could feel. Because Neymar was getting restless. Not for money, not for attention, but for his own kingdom. And as the rivalry between Messi and Ronaldo reached boiling point, Neymar began carving his own path, one that would soon shock the football world to its core. The world wanted conflict. Messi versus Ronaldo, Barcelona versus Madrid, good vs evil, magic versus machine. So when Neymar joined Barcelona, they expected him to join Messi's corner, to fan the flames, to become the next chapter in a war that had already defined an era. But Neymar, he saw things differently, while fans typed insults. And media twisted every image into rivalry. Neymar was watching something else. He was watching Cristiano Ronaldo closely, the way he trained, the way he moved without the ball, the way he celebrated every goal, like it was his first or his last. It wasn't ego. It was hunger. In interviews, Neymar dropped hints. Cristiano is a monster. People talk too much about the comparison, but they forget what he does every single year. That wasn't random praise. It was coded admiration. And Ronaldo? He noticed. Years passed. El Clasico raged on. One by one, stars came and went. But Neymar remained. He became more than Messi's apprentice. He became the difference maker, the spark, the chaos and organized brilliance. But deep inside, he knew he wasn't the main character. Not at Barca, not in Messi's shadow. And Ronaldo knew that feeling all too well. Before he was the alpha at Real Madrid, he had been in Messi's shadow too. Every goal he scored, compared, every trophy he lifted, debated, every smile, scrutinized. They had more in common than anyone could see. Then came Ballon d'Or season. Neymar was on the podium. Messi, Ronaldo, and him. Three kings, one stage. When Ronaldo won, the cameras caught the headlines, but not the handshake. Neymar leaned over, smiled, clapped, and again whispered something. Ronaldo nodded. No tension, just recognition. Behind the scenes, they shared messages, not interviews, not tweets, real messages, respectful, private, human. And one day, Neymar told a close friend, "I know what Cristiano feels. That fire, that pressure, that silence after the crowd leaves. I get it now." It wasn't rivalry anymore. It was understanding. Meanwhile, Ronaldo had started studying Neymar, too. Not his flair, but his courage. How he carried Brazil at just 21. How he played with freedom even when the world wanted perfection. How he kept smiling, even as the injuries mounted, even as the press turned on him, even as fans turned fickle. It reminded Ronaldo of himself. The early years, the loneliness, the whispers of being style over substance. The respect wasn't public. It didn't need to be, because the world wanted drama. But Neymar and Ronaldo were living something deeper. They weren't fighting each other. They were fighting expectation, labels, fatigue, legacy. Then came a night that changed everything. A message, short, from Cristiano to Neymar. Don't let them write your story. Write your own. No one ever saw it. But Neymar never forgot it, because it came when he was considering the unthinkable. Leaving Messi, leaving Barcelona, leaving comfort, to build his own empire. People thought it was about money, or ego, or spotlight, but only a few knew the truth. Ronaldo wasn't holding Neymar back. He was pushing him forward. And when Neymar left Spain, it wasn't to escape Messi. It was to test himself, to chase something Ronaldo had already found. Independence. They weren't rivals. They were examples, blueprints for each other. One chasing legacy, the other chasing freedom. And both, quietly, believing in the other. It was supposed to be just another tournament, just another World Cup. Russia, 2018. Billboards, flags, billions watching. But for Neymar and Ronaldo, it wasn't just football. It was redemption. For Neymar, it was a shot at glory, the chance to heal the wound of 2014, the broken back, the home soil humiliation, the endless memes. He was healthy now, fitter, hungrier, carrying the weight of a nation desperate for its sixth star. But behind the smiles, he was exhausted, from the pressure, from the comparisons, from the spotlight that burned brighter than the sun. For Cristiano Ronaldo, this was the final chapter. He wasn't 25 anymore. He didn't need to prove anything, but he wanted to. The only trophy missing from his legacy, the World Cup. He had the Euros. He had 5 Ballon d'Ors. He had club immortality. But this was personal. And like always, he rose. High voltage signed match day 1. Portugal versus Spain. Ronaldo, hat trick. In 90 minutes, he silenced everyone again. He wasn't finished. He was evolving, performing like a man possessed. The world bowed. Cloud with tornado hash meanwhile. Neymar stumbled, fouled, mocked, labeled a diver. His every fall became a meme. But behind every tumble, there were bruises, fear, pain that cameras couldn't capture. Still, he fought. He scored. He cried. And still, it wasn't enough. Then came the round of 16. Brazil eliminated. Neymar, heartbroken. He fell to the grass. Taze, not for drama, but for the collapse of years of sacrifice. The injury comebacks. The weight he had carried alone. Social media laughed. They didn't see the shattered soul beneath the yellow jersey. Hours later, Portugal fell too. Ronaldo, eliminated, walked off without a word. No tantrum, no camera pose, just a slow, lonely walk toward the tunnel. And for the first time, he looked tired. The warrior had bled for one last fight. And still, it wasn't enough. 2 superstars, 2 different matches, but the same ending. Exit, silence, judgment. The media feasted. Neymar's reputation is in ruins. Ronaldo's World Cup dream is over. Messi, Neymar, Ronaldo, finished. But behind the scenes, one message changed everything. A private call between two defeated men, Cristiano, Neymar. They didn't speak like rivals. They spoke like soldiers, wounded, scarred, but still standing. Ronaldo, they forget fast, don't they? Neymar, they only remember when we lift something. Ronaldo, then we keep lifting, just not for them anymore. Neymar, yeah, for ourselves. There was no applause, no headlines, but for 2 minutes, it wasn't about legacy. It was about humanity. Neymar posted a photo later that night. Not smiling, not dribbling, just looking out a plane window. Caption, one day they'll understand. No one knew what it meant, but Ronaldo did, because he'd lived it. From that moment on, something changed in Neymar. He stopped playing for perfection. He stopped needing approval. He stopped trying to be the next Messi or the next Ronaldo. He started being Neymar. And Ronaldo, he began preparing for what came next. Not retirement, but reinvention. Because when the world turned its back, he didn't turn back. He turned forward. The night both men lost was a night they stopped chasing ghosts and started walking their own paths, alone, but with a respect stronger than any rivalry. The World Cup had ended. The dreams had died, but in the shadows, the game had only just begun. In Paris, Neymar walked back into the spotlight, but something was broken. The joy, the sparkle, gone. He smiled for cameras, but his soul was heavy. He had lost more than a match in Russia. He had lost trust. Whispers filled the locker room. Neymar wasn't untouchable anymore. Mbappé was rising, the golden boy of France, the nation's hero. Suddenly, Neymar was no longer the future. He was in the way. And at Real Madrid, a different silence grew. Cristiano Ronaldo, gone, transferred to Juventus. No farewell parade, no statue unveiling, just silence. He had given them everything. Titles, records, blood, but in return, no fight to keep him. No love, just numbers. The media spun it. He left for money. His chasing comfort. But the truth? Ronaldo left because of betrayal, because he knew his worth. And they didn't. And then the rumor started. Small at first. A flicker. Neymar to Real Madrid. It didn't make sense. Or did it? Madrid had a void. Neymar had ambition. Ronaldo's throne was empty. The world reacted with fire. PSG fans burned jerseys. Barcelona fans felt stabbed. Madrid fans, divided. Could the Prince of Camp Nou replace the King of the Bernabeu? Neymar heard it all, but he said nothing, because deep down, he wanted it. Not for fame, not for revenge, but for independence. He was tired of being second. Second to Messi, second to Mbappé, second in every headline. He didn't want a team. He wanted a kingdom. Behind closed doors, he spoke to Ronaldo. Neymar, will they accept me? Ronaldo, they won't. You will have to take it. Neymar, even after you. Ronaldo, especially after me. That wasn't permission. It was prophecy. But then, things twisted. PSG refused. Madrid hesitated. Mbappé grew stronger. And Neymar, he broke. Injuries piled up. The crowd turned. French media mocked him. He was no longer seen as a savior. He was a symbol of excess, of marketing, of failure. And still, he fought. Ronaldo watched from afar. He saw the pain in Neymar's eyes. The same pain he once wore. When the world judged every step, every smile, every fall. Then came 2019. Summer. Neymar refused a return to PSG training. He wanted out. Anywhere but Paris. But the clubs? Silent. No Madrid. No Barcelona. Not even Juventus. The same football world that once chased him. Now whispered behind his back. His injury-prone. His liability. His finished. And in Italy, Cristiano Ronaldo lifted the Serie A trophy, still scoring, still grinding, but alone, not in love with the game, just loyal to the mission. Because Ronaldo wasn't chasing happiness anymore. He was chasing control. And Neymar, he was chasing something that kept slipping. Belief. For one brief moment. The two nearly aligned. Real Madrid re-entered the Neymar talks. Quiet meetings. Calls. Contracts drafted. And Ronaldo, he made a private phone call. If you go for you, not for them. If they don't fight to bring you in, you fight to walk away. In the end, the deal collapsed. Too expensive, too risky, too political. And with that, two titans remained separate, but strangely connected. By betrayal, by ambition, by wounds the world would never understand. They weren't teammates. They weren't enemies. They were survivors, on parallel paths. Every athlete has a moment, not a goal, not a trophy, not a record, but a moment where something inside cracks, where the game stops being a passion and becomes a prison. For Neymar and Cristiano Ronaldo, that moment was coming. In Paris, Neymar returned from injury like a ghost, his body present, his soul missing. He dribbled, he danced, but the rhythm was gone. The crowd didn't cheer. They judged. They counted his mistakes, his missed passes, his minutes without brilliance. They forgot the magic. They remembered only the drama. PSG fans booed him at home. The same fans who once sang his name. Tears welled up in his eyes after matches. But he kept smiling, because he had always been taught. Smile when you're hurting. Laugh when they doubt you. He was never taught how to break. And break he did. Another injury. Another missed Champions League run. Another summer of transfer rumors. Another year without peace. Meanwhile, in Italy, Cristiano Ronaldo was winning, but it felt empty. Goals came. Trophies, too. But something was missing. Not competition. Not hunger. But connection. He was no longer the face of football. No longer the story. The world had moved on. New stars. New systems. New headlines. And for the first time, Ronaldo felt replaceable. He didn't show it. He never does. But when the Juventus board questioned his wages, when the coach dared to sub him off, when the press had passed his prime, that was a crack. He didn't rage. He didn't cry. He just decided. The return. Cristiano Ronaldo back to Manchester United. The fairy tale. The homecoming. The roar. But the dream was short-lived. The team? Broken. The board? Directionless. The dressing room? Divided. And Ronaldo? He was angry, not because of losing, but because of being lied to. The promises, the structure, the respect, gone. They wanted his name, not his voice, not his influence. So he did what he never does. He spoke. An interview. Unfiltered. Explosive. I feel betrayed. There's no respect. They don't care. It was the sound of a legend, finally breaking. And Neymar, he watched, silently, alone in Paris. He knew that feeling, the betrayal, the pressure, the headlines that turn on you like knives. He sent one message to Ronaldo. I know. 2 words. That's all. Because in 2022, Neymar would hit his own wall. Qatar, World Cup, one last chance. Brazil were favorites. Neymar looked reborn, focused, deadly. And then, the heartbreak. Quarterfinals, eliminated on penalties. Again, Neymar collapsed on the pitch. Not like 2014, not like 2018. This was different. He didn't cry for the cameras. He cried because he couldn't carry them anymore. He stayed behind after the game, the last to leave the field, face down, motionless. For an hour, the man who once played with joy now looked defeated. In the locker room, he said the words no one expected. This might have been my last World Cup. Not long after, Ronaldo faced the same silence. Portugal eliminated, and he benched. For the first time in his career, he wasn't the starter, not the leader, not the solution. He walked off the field, tears streaming. No wave to the crowd, no fist pump, just grief and silence. And in that silence, the world saw the truth. These weren't superheroes. They were men, wounded, aging, tired, not just physically, spiritually. That winter, Neymar and Ronaldo didn't post flashy photos. No golden boots, no branded ads, just darkness. The kings had broken. But what the world didn't expect was what would come next, because from that darkness, both men would rise, not as what they were, but as something new. The world forgot, as it always does. New stars rose. New names filled the headlines. Holland, Mbappe, Jude, Vinicius. The spotlight moved on, and for a while, so did Neymar and Ronaldo. But they weren't chasing the light anymore. They were chasing something deeper. Cristiano Ronaldo disappeared from the European stage. No Champions League, no El Clasico, no Ballon d'Or ceremonies. Just a new league, a new land, Saudi Arabia. The world mocked it, washed over, chasing money. But those who truly understood saw a different story. Ronaldo wasn't running away. He was building a new era, a new narrative, and for once, on his own terms. He no longer needed validation, not from journalists, not from fans, not even from trophies. He had given everything, and now he was giving it to a different purpose, inspiring a generation the world never noticed. Kids in Riyadh copying his free kicks, T-shirts, banners, tears. He wasn't just a player. He was a movement. And then came Neymar. He followed to the same soil, different team, same mission. The press laugh again. A retirement league. His finished. Legacy destroyed. But they didn't understand. Neymar wasn't running from anything. He was running towards peace. For years, he had tried to be what they wanted. The new Pelé, the next Messi, the heir to Ronaldo. And all it did was break him. But in the silence of Riyadh, under floodlights less blinding, with fans who cheered without agenda, he felt something again. Not pressure, not legacy, joy. Then came a moment, unexpected, unscripted, a game, not competitive, not even FIFA sanctioned, a charity event, a friendly, but the eyes of the world were still watching. Ronaldo and Neymar, on the same pitch, same team, no rivalry, no competition, just connection. In the locker room before the game, a journalist overheard Neymar say, "I grew up watching him. Now we play side by side. If that's not legacy, I don't know what is." The match was light-hearted, but in one moment, magic struck. A through ball from Ronaldo, a no-look finish by Neymar. They smiled, they hugged, and in that instant, the internet erupted. No debate, no hate, just awe, because the fans finally saw what had always been true. They were never enemies. They were brothers in legacy. Later that night, a photo went viral. Neymar and Ronaldo, sitting on the bench, laughing. No cameras, no posing. Just two men who had endured everything. From different continents, different styles, different paths, but the same war. The caption? Ronaldo posted it. More than football, respect always. And Neymar reposted it. Obrigado, irmão. I learned from the best. And with that, something shifted. The world stopped comparing, stopped dividing. For the first time, they just appreciated. Not the goals, not the trophies, but the humans behind the legends. Because the real story of Neymar and Ronaldo was never about who was better. It was about how they endured, how they inspired, how they survived. Not everyone becomes a legend. Even fewer stay one. But the rarest of all, those who evolve, those who lose and still rise, those who pass the crown and smile doing it. The Neymar and Ronaldo story didn't end with a whistle. It ended with something greater. Peace, pride, and a legacy bigger than football.